history of Confucianism. Confucianism, the way of life propagated by Confucius in the 6th–5th century BC and followed by the Chinese people for more than 2 millennia. Although transformed over time, it is still the substance of learning, the source of values, and the social code of the Chinese. Cultural context of Confucianism. Confucianism, the teachings of Confucius, during 500 BC, has played an important role in forming Chinese character, behavior, and way of living. Eliot 2001, GUA 1995. Its primary purpose is to achieve harmony, the most important social value. 5 elements of Confucianism. 1. Benevolence. Benevolence is an act of kindness towards ourselves and others without expecting to get anything in return. Confucius defined benevolence as wishing be established himself, seeks also establish others, wishing to be enlarged. 2. Righteousness. Righteousness in the literal term means justice, moral, and have the ability to choose to act rightfully in any given situation. Righteousness involves a moral disposition to do good and also the intuition. 3. Trustworthiness. Shin. Analects, Confucius said, if one is trustworthy, others will give one responsibility. This means if you are trustworthy, others will be more likely to rely upon you. In the workplace, if you are known for trustworthiness, your manager will take notice and are more. For propriety. Shin. Propriety means politeness or the quality of conforming to conventionally accepted standards of behavior or morals. The teachings of propriety are ideals, such as filial piety, the important virtue and primary duty of respect, obedience, and care for your parents and other family member. Wisdom. Wisdom is the characteristics of having knowledge, experience, and good judgment in any given situation. A person is considered intelligent and has wisdom when he or she can make a sound decision based on his or her spirituality of Confucianism. Confucianism remains one of the most influential philosophies in China. During the Han Dynasty, Emperor Wu Di reigned 141–87 BC, made Confucianism the official state ideology. During this time, Confucius schools were established to teach Confucian ethics. Confucianism existed along highlights of Confucianism. The idea of filial piety, or devotion to family, is key to Confucius thought. This devotion can take the form of ancestor worship, submission to parental authority, or the use of family metaphors, such as Son of Heaven, to describe the emperor and his government. Conclusion. China's soft power, Confucianism, is set to advance the country's globalization. In the Confucian tradition, the core is the inner sage, a person who has established virtue in himself, and the outer king that has accomplished great deeds in the world. The ancient Western political references of Confucianism. Throughout much of Chinese history, Mencius 37–289 BC was considered the greatest Confucian thinker after Confucius himself, following the enshrinement of the Mencius and edited compilation of his thought by disciples as one of the 4 books by some Neo-Confucianist.
In the late Eastern Han Dynasty, Buddhism had already begun to be introduced into China. During the Tang Dynasty, Confucianism, Buddhism and Taoism were active in the political and civil worlds. However, with the decline of the Tang Dynasty, centuries of war and chaos, Confucianism was once again at a low ebb. When China was re-established as a partially unified dynasty, the Song dynasty, a large number of Confucian thinkers emerged again. Among them, Zhou Dunyi, Qing Hao, Cheng Yi, and Zhu Xi represented the new doctrine of Confucianism. The new Confucianism was called Neo-Confucianism. Neo-Confucianism continued to hold the basic Confucian idea of ruling the country by rights. It made the concepts of patriarchy, chastity, and filial piety prevail. It became the official mainstream ideology that most secured the rule of the Song dynasty. Confucianism was thus revitalized. However, after more than 500 years of development, by the early Ming dynasty, Neo-Confucianism had been frozen in the books. The once active thought had become conservative and rigid. At this time, Confucianism needed to show its strong vitality and youthfulness. Most imperial examiners kept to the gateway of Neo-Confucianism. That 16-year-old crazy young man has wandered away from the northern frontier fortress. Is Wang Yangming. Unrestrained personality destined him for a difficult and legendary life, and was helping to bring about the birth of a Confucian sage. Experience and good thinking that gave Wang Yangming an understanding between Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. He was not bound by the dogma of Neo-Confucianism. Consistently introduced such propositions as mind as reason and knowledge as action. Instructed his Yangming heart and soul. He completed another self-renewal of Confucianism.